Hi, I'm Teresa Chang.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann McCara.
Hi, I'm Kim Johnson with Moms Navigating Autism.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann McCara.
Hi, I'm Teresa Chang.
Kim Johnson.
So,
There's no history in our
Right.
family of any
right, and there's
sort
no
of
history in my
neurological
family.
issue.
Right.
I have a cousin that has, he's Aspie.
Did he have a child?
No, he lives in a group home. He has no children.
Okay.
He lives in a group home.
I'm just wondering, their children end up, autism children end up with neurotypical parents, but does a autism child have autism children? Like
How
you're
often
talking
do
about
autistic adults have
Right.
children?
Aspies.
Yeah, I mean Asperger's.
Well, I
Like
guess
I'm wondering if Bill Gates' children have.
well, I guess it depends on
Right.
where you are on the spectrum, right? So, like my son, most likely is not going to get married, have children. So therefore, I wouldn't know if he could pass it on. Or
Right.
Children that are like him most likely won't have a family. Unfortunately, I have to say that, but.
Right.
So I don't know what the studies are on that.
Right.
And like you said, there's all different ends of the spectrum. So like it was explained to me in the spectrum, like people that like to chew on a pen cap or a straw, or people that rock or tap their foot constantly, or somewhere within the spectrum, everybody has their little quirks, but they're never diagnosed or they don't have autism and they have
And those
absolutely
behaviors
normal
may not interfere
children
with
and-
their daily life.
Right.
right.
I mean,
Right.
So
And when we
I
were
don't know.
younger, kids were not diagnosed with autism.
I mean,
It
now the
wasn't-
number is what, 1 in 54? Something
is it
like
that
that?
low?
I
1 in
thought it was
54.
less than that.
Really?
I could be wrong. But I
The
thought it was
printout
less
I
than
had,
that.
I think the website they didn't update it. I think it still said 1 in 68 actually. So that's old.
The most recent
website.
mailing from Autism Speaks I saw said I think 1 in 54
Okay.
children.
Then it's 1 in 54.
Yeah,
And mostly boys.
mostly boys,
Right. Right.
and I don't know why it's
But
mostly
I
boys.
think they're
Some
saying.
chromosome or genes or something.
I think they're saying that it's the age of the male sperm. That is the issue.
But our first child is the one who's affected with,
How
with
was
autism.
How old was your husband?
Oh, good Lord! Now you're asking me
They're
to do
saying
math.
30. They're saying
But-
30 and up.
But we had 2 children after our oldest son who are more or less typically developed.
I have no idea.
So basically, it's just throw of the dice, chance.
I had. Oh, look.
I had in vitro
They've
to have
been-
my son. So and I
Oh.
know a certain person that we
Some-
mutually know the same thing. I don't know if that has anything to do. Like I would never sit there and
And the
say
same
could it
person
be this
that we
or that.
mutually know, same thing.
In vitro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could it be that? And
I don't
no,
know.
because there's people that have multiple in vitro,
But once
and not
again-
every child's, like you said, affected by
Right.
it.
But
so,
I mean,
But-
my 2
but
younger
in this-
children are not affected.
Right. But in this case, the
Yeah.
father was older, and we didn't have in vitro,
mhm.
and we ended up with.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
one can
Kyler
spend
also
hours
had
and
surgeries
hours
when
trying
he was
to
born.
Figure out.
He had a lot of anesthesia when he was first born to fix.
I had
I-
morning sickness for 7 months.
And I only had it the first 3 months, and then I was perfectly fine the last 6 months.
Oh no,
Yeah, I
I
was
had morning
fine,
sickness
but-
for
and-
7 months.
Yeah. But
Probably
I mean,
why we don't have
could,
another child.
one could spend
wouldn't have got
one
it,
could
but,
spend
But that's the-
years trying to figure out did I take something while I was pregnant that I shouldn't have? Did I do something I shouldn't have done? Did my husband do something he shouldn't have done? Is it because of our age? Is it because of our genetic makeup? Is it because of our ethnicity? Is it because
We
of
don't know.
who knows what?
Mhm.
All right, so
I was given it because I could handle the challenge. That's how I look
that's
at
the
it.
way they. Well, that's
I
the
can't
way
look
they
at it any
have
other way.
I
I wouldn't change it.
There are moments when I really can't stand that phrase.
What?
That you're not given anything unless you can handle
Handle
You
it.
can handle it, right?
Because believe me, there are some days
You want
And
to
some nights
throw your hands up and say,
when it feels very
Wait.
hard to handle.
No. There's been times where I'm on Facebook going, it's
but we
been
will
an
have that
Asperger's
moment,
day.
you know? Like,
You know?
and then, all right, I'm good now.
Well, you push
and
past that.
Yes,
You push past that
yes.
moment. You get past, and you're like, okay, that was today. Tomorrow could be better.
And I also look at it, because I look at my son and I say, well, he wouldn't have that kind of personality, he wouldn't do these things, or wouldn't make me smile at certain things he does if he wasn't who he was either. So it's, you know, I don't know, this is how I move on. People are like, oh, you're always smiling, you're always happy, you know, because I wanted a child, I have him, he makes me happy, he brings me joy still, he is who he is, and that's it. I don't know, I just,
Well,
I
I'll
can't
tell
be
you
sad
one
or
thing.
cry or...
Autism moms are some of the strongest women I know. They are, you know, you wouldn't think so going through some of the stuff we go through. But we are flexible. We adjust.
We adapt, definitely.
Right. And we take, you know, whatever's going to meet us. You know, it doesn't matter. And
Because
You
we
learn
don't
to
have
do
a
things
choice.
differently.
right, because we don't have a
We
choice.
don't have a choice.
But we gain inner strength from that.
We play the hand we're dealt.
Right. But we gain inner strength from that.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like that.
I know.
You know?
And I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way
Yeah.
sometimes. But you know, other times, you know, you gotta think back and reflect. I conquered that. I met that challenge and
Yeah, my son can't do things that other kids
I made
do.
it to the next day.
But he's healthy, and that's, you know, I just want him to be healthy and happy. I want him to be able to at least function and be able to do some more daily living skill type things and be able to handle himself. No, when I'm gone, that he's going to be okay. That's the thing that worries me the most.
Right.
Right.
Of course.
Um,
That's a big
I just
word.
like
the
health
thing.
and happy is like
Yeah.
so important to me. Forget all the other
Yeah.
stuff. You don't have to
A good
go on to
quality of
college or play baseball, go out with friends, get married. Yeah, okay, these are the things we want for our children. But happy is more than anything, I
Right.
think, and his health. Two of the top things for
I mean,
me.
the script changes, but you still hope for a happy
Yes.
ending.
Yeah, those
Correct,
are the two
yeah.
things at top for me.
Listen, with my child, I worry about who's going to take care of him after. And I think he can take care of himself. My son can cook. My son can figure out
Life skills.
life skills. Right. It's his fitting in. And that's the most important thing that's to him. He wants to be able to fit in. And that is the hardest thing. And I keep telling him, it doesn't matter how many friends you have. You just need one or two or even three extremely close friends.
Good ones.
Right. But I think that's something that we all find out when we're older. You know, you don't
The
need
ones
all
that
these
stay
friends.
with you for life,
Right, the ones, right, and he's got that. You know, and
A
but
social support system.
right, he's got a social support system. Actually, we just went through with him. He was mad at a friend that he's had since childhood, and he didn't know how to communicate with him. So his way of dealing with it is, let me just not talk to him and ignore it. So all summer long, we just did not answer texts, call. And so finally, I had a discussion with his mom, with this kid's mom, and just wanted to let him know, like, it you know, it's not something that her son did wrong. You know, it's something how he's dealing, he should be dealing with as an adult, but he's not dealing with it that way. He's just ignoring the problem, which in some ways is neurotypical, and in some ways it's autistic. All right, so he eventually she had her son call, and now he's the happiest person. They're going to the movies on Friday, and now, you know, he's glad that it worked out. But he, you know, and I kept saying, listen, pick up the phone and call him. Pick up the phone, because that's what adults do. If I have a problem with you or you, I'm gonna pick up the phone and I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna say, this is what bothered me.
And talk it out.
Right, let's talk about it. Right? He couldn't do that. So,
There's many people that hold that grudge and can't let go, so typical.
That's
Perhaps
neurotypical,
it
right?
could be just breaking it down into steps.
It's with him, I found that it was that taking that step to do it. He just didn't know how to tell him, which is the communication part of it. So he they talked it out after that, and that it worked out. So, and I told him a lot of times people don't know what they're doing. You know, and he felt that it was unfair inside. You know how you get that feeling inside that something's not fair, and you want to say it, but it's making you angry. And because he's on the spectrum, he was perseverating on it. And my son will perseverate on certain things. So he kept perseverating on it. But instead of doing something about it, he just ignored it and continued to perseverate.
And sometimes we just have to muddle through.
Right.
I mean, for anyone, I mean, you know, you run across awkward, difficult situations. Sometimes it might feel easier just to ignore it, but you have to take that step and, you know, just take that step and do it.
Right.
And, you know,
which is in
put
some
yourself
ways,
out there.
And it's kind of really difficult because in some ways it's sort of adult, pre-adult, you know, because kids maybe in their teens,
get there.
Right? Kids in their teens, you know, they tend to, you know, have that same. Not all of them are as mature,
Right.
All right, and they don't really want to do it, you know. Talk it out. They don't really, you know. It's so it
feels hard.
Right, but
feels hard.
you have a child on the spectrum, and they don't want to
do it for you.
Right, you want your parents to do it for you, and I kept saying I'm not doing it.
Can you call a person for me and ask them if you can pick up the phone, you can call, and this is, you know.
So he actually, they talked it out,
That's
and
good.
it was great. You know, it's kind of hard, like these everyday things, you know, and it's something that everyday neurotypical children go through, but it's just really hard for the kids on the spectrum to be able to meet head on.
Right. And even day-to-day things like transitioning, you know, getting up in the morning, getting breakfast, getting dressed, getting out the door can be really difficult.
Routine is key too.
Routine is key. Having everything ready the night before can really save you a lot of anguish in the morning, I find.
It's like typical routine every morning. It's like we know we gotta get dressed, take a shower, go downstairs, have breakfast. The bus is gonna come, and he expects that. He waits. It's just you just get into a routine, and it has to be like that. Some people can't come out of the routine. Like there are children that, you know, if you just change one little thing on it, that sets off the whole mood in the morning. Thank God we don't have that.
Right. I mean, if you have a bus that shows up late,
they get anxious and antsy.
Children can be very rigid, you know, and they get upset, and they might start to, you know, tantrum or get agitated or lie down on the sidewalk.
Well, now that we're talking about routine, you moved while
yes, we moved to Peekskill in 2011.
Okay. So we moved in 2018. We moved 3 years ago. So that whole thing was having to move to another town, to a new place. That was an experience for us because, you know, we knew we had to move. And, you know, some parents will tell you, you know, we're not moving because the child doesn't want to move. But, you know, my husband and I were like, well, the child doesn't really dictate, you know, where we're moving to or what we need to do. So we're going to just go ahead and make the arrangements. So I started ahead of time heading out to the place that we were moving so he could familiarize himself. Prepare himself. Kind of, he knew, you know, I've had these discussions with him. So come the day we have to move his furniture out, I called the mom of his friend, and she took him for the day. They went out to dinner, the family, and we moved his furniture out. He came back, his furniture was not in his room. And then he was fine. Oh, just his bed. He was fine with that because he was still in the house.
Right.
All right. So, but then came the day we had to all move, and so I just brought him over to the new place, and I told him he had to sit there. I mean, it sounds like it was only a few days, but we're talking a matter of 3 to 4 months. Okay, so now we move into the new place, and he refuses to use the bathroom. So every night we got into this thing where we had to drive him someplace to go to the bathroom because he refuses to use the bathroom at the new place. And we're talking transition. All right. So after a while, eventually he started using the bathroom at the new place. It's transition. Me, the way I dealt with it was, we're going to do what we need to do, but we have to move. We're moving, and that was it. And whatever transitions we needed to go through afterwards, then we went through them, and now he's fine. He's gotten used to being in a new place, and he even says, I'm glad I left there. It's much nicer over here. People are friendlier, but and more accepting is what he says. But how did it go when you moved?
Well, when we moved, it was a slightly different situation because we were moving from an apartment in Mount Vernon to a house in Peekskill. And moving with my husband and the 3 boys, we were moving to, it was a larger place, larger space, backyard for the boys. The one thing I did worry about was our son getting out of the house, because he has no sense of danger and he might run out into the street or just elope and go off running somewhere. So security was one of my main concerns when we moved. As far as adjusting goes, the boys all seemed to adjust fairly well because it was an improvement. I mean, they each had their own room in the new house, had a large backyard, plenty of space and park to walk around. So that there weren't really any, difficult transitions in regards to our move. Most of our difficult transitions have been, let's say, between, dinner time and bedtime. Bath time, getting in and out of the shower. Just sort of getting the day to move along so that everything that needs to happen happens. Sometimes waiting for his siblings to come out of school, that could be difficult, because he always wanted to be moving, always wants to be moving. And when he's not moving, I guess maybe he wonders why am I stuck here? And he would start to tantrum. But a lot of these things have leveled off as he's grown older, which is no doubt also due in fact to all the therapy he's received.
We didn't move.
Yeah, you did pretty much.
We've been here, but as far as my son walking around the house at night or getting out the door and stuff like that, we have some safety things in effect. And that's for his safety, because I don't want him up and down the stairs in the night in the dark, or going into the kitchen, going in the fridge, or anything like that.
Right.
Going out the door. I don't think he could unlock one of the doors probably, because I think it's too hard for it to be unlocked. But he goes out in the garage and likes to sit out there. So if he ever did learn to open the garage, I'm a heavy sleeper sometimes. So we do have those things in place so that he doesn't take off. And he's here in the house. He's safe. That's all that we want, is safe.
This is his safe haven.
We've had like latches on the door, and also alarms, so that when the door is ajar, tones will go off.
Yeah,
so that way
we
we know he's opened the door. He hasn't done it recently, but he has done it in the past. So we're always on our guard when he's visiting home over long weekends, the holidays. We have to be vigilant to make sure that he does not, leave the house on his own. Because he'll leave without wearing shoes on his feet and no coat, in any kind of weather.
Yeah, they have no sense of
Yeah.
Yeah, my son doesn't have sense of danger, traffic, heights, steps, or anything like that. He would just fall off. But he won't go too far without the video player, so he's kind of close. he'll come wake me up first to put on a video player. I'll probably get hit with that in the head before he goes out the door. So, you know, like going to a hotel or something, I sleep holding his leg.
Really?
Yeah, because if he moves or tries to leave, but like I said, he doesn't go too far. He'll want to go where the video player is being charged and bring it over to you. So that's a thankful thing to me because he wants the portable DVD player that he won't go too far looking for. It's right there, and he'll want me to turn it on, so he's not going too far. So even like in a hotel, putting tape on the door on the inside so he can't just easily get out. I hear him rummaging before he can get out.
Right.
You know, things like that.
Placing impediments in
Yes.
the way to sort of
Yes.
slow them down if they do try to get out of where it's
Put a chair in front of the door.
Lightweight table so that, God forbid, there was an emergency in a hotel or something, the fireman could kick the door in because it won't be blocking it, but it deters him because he can't manipulate things and move around like that as much, you know, because of fine motor and, you know, moving things like that. So those are like some of the safeguards that we put in place.
I mean, I can remember seeing our son looking at the doorknob and the lock, almost as if he was, you know, sort of figuring it out. And he'll watch us, so he knows how to open the door. I just am very hopeful that he doesn't, you know, elope away from the house. Because there have been one or two times when we did have to call the police and say, listen, our son left the house. We don't know where he is. Thankfully, both times he was very close. One time he was in a park, and the other time he had our neighbors brought him in to their house. So they found him only a few blocks away. But still, it terrifies you.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. It is. This day and age, people don't understand somebody that's not talking or not answering them. And as they get older, it's even worse. So.
Oh my God, some of those autistic kids that are end up missing that you hear about on the radio or the newspaper or the TV, it's scary. You really feel for those parents.
On the auto train, I think I slept on the floor against the door so that he couldn't get out.
When he was...
I don't care if I'm on the... It means he's staying in the room and he's safe, then...
Right.
I don't care.
When he was younger, I used to worry more about water, bodies of water, because he was very attracted to bodies of water.
So was mine, yeah.
And in fact, we looked at some houses in Verplank, and I said to my husband, no way, it's too close to the water. This will never work. I'll be anxious all the
whole time. Yeah.
But I worry less about water now and more maybe about him, you know, eloping away. Because it happened one time from his group home, and he was brought back by the New York State Police. Got out on...
From the group home?
Yes, it was a couple of years ago now, and it was Halloween, actually, and they found him walking barefoot. Yeah, and they brought him back to the house. And they didn't call us, actually, until he was safely back home. But it was still nerve-wracking.
That's what you have to worry about when your child's in somebody else's care like that. Like, you know...
I mean, you have to, you know...
It's just something
you have to do it, and
right, whether it's
point,
school
and you have to
or where they live, or that's
okay,
right,
and you know, just pray and hope for the best.
That's always been my thing. Even sending him to school, I'm entrusting these people with my son. Are they doing the right thing by him? He can't tell me what's happening on the bus.
Yeah, when they can't speak.
So did you follow the bus to school?
The first day.
First day. So can I just tell you something?
He was 2.5 years old. He was in a car seat and had a pacifier, okay? So he was little. I remember coming in the house saying, wait, I got to get his pacifier. Came in the house. I was in tears. And I said to my husband, I said, we got to follow the bus. We were around the corner from the bus as he was going into children's school. They came out to get him, and they had to carry him in because he was asleep on the bus. I said, he doesn't even have a clue what's going on. Oh, my God. And I was just crying.
So can I just tell you something? I followed the bus on the first day of school too. I followed the bus. I mean, it was like down the street from where we lived. I got in that bus. followed that bus behind it.
We didn't actually follow. We showed up at the school when they were taking him. I wanted to see how
How
the
you
staff was going to take him off the bus. Was he going to cry?
Right.
Was he going to try to walk because he didn't walk too good? You know,
No,
how
I
are they going
followed
to
the bus.
treat him?
I followed the bus. I
no,
followed the
did.
bus, but you know what? I got there and
My
I
husband
found
too. It wasn't just me.
my husband too. I followed the bus, and when we got there, the matron came out and started smoking a cigarette.
Oh God.
Then I told the school, and she was gone after that.
One of the things that made me a lot less anxious when he first went off to school was the daily communications back and forth in the notebook. That was really key to my feeling a little bit better about his going off to school. And I have to say that now, since he's older, I kind of miss those daily communications because now we'll only hear, oh, if he got a scratch or if there's a bruise or they want to document something medically or he's having his, teeth cleaned or something or they needed permission slip signed for something or other. But we don't get a lot of sort of daily communications anymore. It's more of on a need to know basis. If we need to know something, if it's medical or something of that nature, they will phone us or they'll email us. We still have regular quarterly meetings for him. But I miss the communications from the teachers. And now that he's 21, no more teachers.
Right.
He's going into day hab. And the gentleman who runs the day hab seems very nice, but I'm sure he's very, very busy. And I'm sure he doesn't want to give me daily accounts of what our son is doing. Because there are a lot of people in the program.
Right.
But so I kind of miss that. I still have all his old notebooks.
I just got there in the attic
I have a
and all the
stack of them.
ABA books. The
Yeah.
logs are upstairs too.
And one of the things that we have to remember, no matter where your child is on the spectrum, we need to build up his strengths. It's really important whether they're on the low end of the spectrum or on the high end of the spectrum. There's something that you notice that is like shining brightly. Build up that strength, no matter what it is, and help your child at least get some encouragement.
I mean, even small increments of progress
Mm-hmm.
can, greatly help, a family to see. Any small progress.
Maybe the littlest thing, being
Yeah,
able to
any
sit with a
small
bunch
progress
of people
is
or
sometimes
tolerate the noise.
sometimes can be a really big thing. Other people might not realize it as being a big thing, but to you within the family sphere, it's really big. If they can sit through a meal without having a tantrum or getting upset, or if they can go on an outing and not have a tantrum. That's all progress, and progress is hard won over sometimes a long period of time and a lot of work.
Even if they point at something to indicate what they want, that is some form of communication, and that's good. That's
Sure.
a strength, But
And it's different for every child.
Right.
Like it could be whether they use pictures, like you said,
Text.
pointing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you adapt the signs and sign language to work for that child. Like some of my sons aren't the typical sign language; they're adapted to what he can do. But that's the way he can communicate. So he doesn't have to be frustrated. He can communicate now
Right.
with his sign.
Thank you to Altis for providing us with this platform.
And we want to remind everybody that we are mothers. We are not professionals. We're sharing our experiences so that you guys can learn from us.
Watch us again next week. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow, like, and subscribe.